Hey everyone, welcome to Admit One with G Money. Today we have the co-founder of Rolling Loud. In 2010, after noticing a discrepancy in hip-hop representation in Florida, he and his partners set out to start Dope Entertainment and help to set the stage for many up-and-coming hip-hop talent. In 2015, they founded Rolling Loud, starting as a one-night concert, which has become the world's largest hip-hop festival. He's now here to talk through the next phase of Rolling Loud and how their Loudpunx NFTs will be the blueprint for all other festival passes. Please welcome Tariq Cherif.
Tariq
I'm sorry.
Cherif, what's
Hey,
up?
Tariq.
It's all good. People said it wrong my whole life. I try not to be too harsh about it. It's all good. What's up, everybody? What's up, G Money?
How are you? Thank you for taking the time. I know we're going to be putting this out later on this week, but today is actually like a pretty insane day in crypto. I'm not sure if you've been following along, but this, like over the last week, for those that have been following along at home, like for the last week or so, there's been speculation of whether FTX was undercapitalized and whatnot, and CZ from Binance and Sam Bankman-Fried were kind of going at it back and forth on Twitter. And then about a few hours ago, Binance entered into a non-binding letter of intent to buy FTX, which has been like pretty crazy in and of itself. But then like Suzu from Three Arrows Capital came back to Twitter. Do Kwon was just on like up only, like, so it's like it's kind of like pretty insane. So like I was a couple minutes late to this podcast just because I feel like I was just catching up on all this craziness. But like just like trying to figure out what the ramifications are for it, right? For the industry as a whole. But dude, thank you for coming on.
We'll see. We'll see. I still got beef with FTX because they bought Blockfolio.
Mhm.
Uh, and I used to track all my crypto holdings on Blockfolio. And then it became FTX and it still had all my stuff on there because I don't like to have my crypto, like I don't want to be able to access it on my phone because I don't want
Right.
to get like hacked or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would use Blockfolio to track my holdings. And then it switched to FTX, but it still had all my stuff saved on there. Next thing I know, like a couple months ago, boom, everything I had up like saved on there, it's gone. So I had to like redo it. It was
Ah,
annoying.
that
So
sucks.
I got beef with FTX.
Well, I mean that
I'm just
now
kidding.
it seems like you came out on the better end of that deal, considering it seems like it's a buy under. It just reminds me a lot of it reminds me of like when JP Morgan bought out Bear Stearns, where like, I think like like customer deposits might be safe, but like equity down to zero pretty much. So interesting. Like it's like craziness, the ramifications of what.
Yeah. I'm more of a Coinbase guy, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's new. I don't know if that's the wrong thing to say, but I'm
I use
out here.
Coinbase too. I use Coinbase too. I rarely use FTX. I think I have some money on there, but not much. But I think it just kind of like just really. I'm just like watching from the peanut gallery and like putting some hot takes and maybe reposting some memes here and there. But ultimately, I don't really have a dog in this fight other than like I want to see just crypto proliferate long term. But it's like really interesting kind of to watch
Absolutely.
like the DeFi side of things, because this is obviously happening on the DeFi side, and then like the NFT side, like NFT Twitter is kind of almost like, oh, I don't really know what's going on over here. So it's like it's pretty crazy to see that dichotomy happening in real time.
I
Uh,
always thought that was interesting, the separation of like NFT Twitter and crypto Twitter.
mhm.
I've always found that interesting.
Well, I think it's gonna be bound to happen, right? Because just like for the same reason that like, let's say like Hollywood magazines don't always necessarily intersect with like the Wall Street Journal, right? And it's like those are like very different conversations that are happening at the same time. But although there are like points of interest where they both intersect, but for the most part, like they're going to be focused on like just different topics. So it's really interesting, I think, to see it in real time on Twitter, because the industry is still so nascent and young that over the course of time, like I think like they'll each have their own voices and their own channels, let's say. But like for now, it's like all lumped into one thing, right? Where it's all crypto. let's talk a little bit about, like, I guess the beginning of your career, before we start talking about how you got into NFTs. But like like how did you end up getting into like the festival, into the concert business? Like how was that? How did you get started in that?
That's a great question. So back in 2009, 2010, I was a college student at Florida State University, and I was obsessed with music, specifically rap music. But I like all types of music. But I was very obsessed with like the hip hop industry as a whole. And I interned at a recording studio in 2009, and I thought maybe I wanted to be an artist. And I tried recording, and I made a bunch of songs, and I tried producing and made a bunch of beats and stuff. And I quickly realized I'm not that type of creative. So, and then I saw soon after that, I started noticing that a lot of the parties in college, like at the clubs, when they'd have like these EDM DJs come DJ, I noticed that it was college kids my age were booking the DJs, paying the DJs, and then paying the club and selling the tickets. And I'm like, oh, that seems like simple science. And that's something I could do with my favorite rappers that are not getting booked in Florida, which at the time was people like Currency, Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, J. Cole, Wale, Big Sean, Kid Cudi, like the 2009 XXL freshman class, basically. The Kendrick Lamar's, et cetera, the new wave of rap back then. Nobody was booking them in Florida. So basically, my partner Matt Zingler and I, we got to work. We took the little money that we had, and we started booking shows, and we started doing it all over the state of Florida, and in our college towns of Tallahassee and Gainesville, but also in Orlando, Tampa, and our biggest market, Miami. Um, and the main reason was, I just wanted to get into the music industry, and I didn't see a route in with college. I didn't have the right prereqs to get into like music business school, or the pathway to do the school route for music industry for me seemed very uphill, and not even just uphill, but just confusing. I didn't even know how to go about it. So I figured if I start booking all these rappers, after X amount of time, I'll be in business with enough of them, or have done business with enough of them, that maybe I could transition to something else. There was no goal to start a festival when we started booking concerts. That was more of like a natural unfoldment where we started doing shows more consistently. They went from being like every other month to we started having shows every month. And then by summer 2014, we really had like scaled out of the room sizes that we were booking. We were booking concerts from anywhere from 50 to 100 people up to like 2,000 people, and filling up whatever room it was for. Um, and quickly we tried to get up to the next size venue, which is like arenas, but those were owned by companies like Live Nation or AEG Live or some of these big concert promoters. So we were kind of like blocked from using these venues. And again, with the EDM thing, we noticed, we have Ultra Music Festival in Miami. There's EDC all over the world, Electric Daisy Carnival, which is another EDM festival. And we were like, oh, we could do that for hip hop. So essentially, we found a warehouse, and in February 2015, we did the first Rolling Loud, 6,000 something fans, 1 day show. Um, and a lot of things went wrong on that first show. The venue like flooded from torrential downpours of rain, but the show went on, and fans had a great time. And from there, we took the same strategy we had with our regular concert promoting business, which was, let's just make it the next show better than the last. Let's do our best on each show. Let's make it as big and as well run as possible, and then assess it afterwards, and try again the next time. So every year we've done that with Rolling Loud. Uh, we're on our eighth year or something like that. The COVID year threw me off, so I don't can't really count that one. But we're here in 2022 now, and looking forward to a great 2023.
Cool. I mean, that's awesome. Congrats on that natural progression. It's I think it's
Thank
always
you.
like commendable, like when, when somebody's very entrepreneurial, right? And it's like kind of like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna keep on doing this, and then you find like other avenues, like, oh, well, that's like I didn't expect that, and I think that's kind of like one of
Yeah,
the number one things of being an entrepreneur, right? Of like just going with the flow of like having a vision of where you think the business is going to go, but then ultimately, being able to kind of adapt as the conditions change, right? And I think that probably,
absolutely. That's clutch.
yeah, and I think that probably leads into, I think, what ends up happening in COVID, right? So COVID hits, obviously your business comes to a standstill because it's live events. What happens then, like as an entrepreneur, as you're thinking about things, and how do you end up finding like NFTs and crypto from there?
So actually got into crypto prior to COVID. So I'll just give a little backstory there, and then I'll hop into how I became aware of NFTs. So with crypto, I was actually told about crypto around the same time that we started throwing concerts. But the ways the person told me about it, I totally discounted it and didn't pay it any attention. Basically, somebody was like, "Hey, there's this new thing called Bitcoin," and it was like $1 for a Bitcoin. It was like dollar to Bitcoin was equal. Um, and he was like, "Yeah, you get this stuff called Bitcoin, and then you can go on this website called the Silk Road and buy drugs." And I'm like, "Well, I have no interest in buying drugs online, so I don't care about what you're telling me right now." In hindsight, I wish I bought a bunch of Bitcoin that day and just held it. No, it wasn't framed to me as like decentralized currency, et cetera, et cetera. Like, no, it wasn't told about Satoshi, like none of that. I was just told one use case. I ignored it, which is like a metaphor or like a lesson for life. Like, dig in a little deeper when somebody tells you about something new. There could be other use cases. Um, but then fast forward to like 2017 or 2018, my good friend Aditya told me, like, he was like, "Yo, you should like look at this Bitcoin stuff and Ethereum." And he was telling me about some different coins, and I was like, "Hey, man, I respect your investment advice." Like, he's a he's very financially savvy. So I started buying Bitcoin. Um, and then when it hit so now fast forward to 2020, we had that low of Bitcoin in March of 2020. I guess I bought some more Bitcoin then. I wish I bought a lot more when it was like 4,000 a Bitcoin, but I bought some Bitcoin then. Um, and I've been holding ever since. And in that same year, we couldn't do concerts. We did a bunch of virtual shows. Shout out to Twitch. They threw us a nice bag of money that basically kept us afloat to be able to book artists to do private virtual shows with no fans in real life, but the Twitch audience and whatever. Um, and started seeing a bunch of NFT talk and a bunch of like projects popping off. Obviously, CryptoPunks had already launched, but the Bored Apes and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to name drop a million projects, but I started seeing projects pop off. And I'm not going to lie, like, I did want to like run in and like save the company, quote unquote, and like drop an amazing NFT project and really like hit the gold rush. Um, and we worked on a bunch of ideas. We were going to like copy NBA Top Shot and release like packs of moments from Rolling Loud history and like gamify it in some way and make them limited and stuff. And we worked on that project for a while. Um, but then I started realizing that it was bigger than that, and it was less short term than that. So we slowed down. We really did a lot more research and just tinkering with and brainstorming with the ideas of what can Rolling Loud do with NFTs. And that coincided with something I'd already been working on, which was how do we create a loyalty program of sorts for our most core fans? Because we start seeing tweets and Instagram posts and comments and whatever of a lot of people being like, "Hey, I'm about to go to my 10th Rolling Loud," or I went to 3 Rolling Louds last year," or like during COVID, like, "Oh man, I went from going to 3 Rolling Louds in 2019 to not a single show in 2020." Um, so we realized same thing we realized when we were booking shows. We start seeing the same people at shows start seeing these same type of comments like, okay, we have like this core fan base that we need to figure out how do we reward them for being so loyal and for being such great members of our community. um, and that word community is really the important one. And I think the word community is the most important word, one of the most, other than utility, one of the most important words in the NFT space is, the NFT space, all these projects are all about community. Um, so I think it's really, I think it was a really cool way for us to enter the space and figure out under the like the guidance of the idea of let's unite our most core community. And there are Web 2 solutions, of course. You could sell a lifetime festival pass in with Web 2, but it's not as frictionless. I really like the frictionless nature of Web 3. The idea that, on Web 2, if you buy a lifetime pass and then you want to sell it, there's a good chance that if you're a buyer of somebody selling their lifetime pass, they might be scamming you on StubHub. I mean, we've got people that come to our will call at all of our festivals that got scammed on StubHub. They bought a ticket on StubHub, and then somebody told them, or the person told them, go pick up the ticket at will call. And sure enough, we don't have a ticket for them because it was a scam. So the Web 3 solution of the frictionless nature, being able to buy a lifetime pass, use it for X amount of time, and then be able to sell it when you need the money or you grow out of going to hip hop festivals or whatever it is. um that really drew us in and solidified our intention in the space.
Right. That I mean, that's super cool and interesting. That to me, that almost, I mean, would the a good comparison kind of be similar to the PSL licenses that some teams have for their season ticket holders?
Over my head,
Oh,
don't
okay.
know what a
Right.
PSL license
Okay.
is.
All right. All right. Yeah. No. Well,
I will never lie and say I understand what you're talking about when I
right.
don't.
No. Well, it's kind of like I think it happens a lot in football, and I think other sports do it where you buy you buy this. I think it's one time you buy the right to buy those tickets every season, right? So you get those season tickets at face value, right? Because you own like the license, and then you can resell them as you see fit, right? And then if and when you decide that you're done with the PSL, that I don't know exactly. I'm not sure if you can transfer them, but I think there's almost like this gray market that at least used to exist in the past, where if like I'm like, to your point, is like maybe I outgrow going to like sports games, I then like kind of like will find somebody that's willing to pay me. And like I don't know if it's now like above the table where it's like I can transfer that to you, but like before it would be like, yeah, like it gets sent to me and then you pay me. Like it's like, to your point, is like it's not as fishy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it's almost like sketchy. You got to really know the person if you're
Yeah,
going to do a transfer like that.
right. Like it
Um,
can't be
so I,
trusted.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really interesting. And like, I mean, at when you were first thinking about it, were you like, okay, like this is like, is your goal to kind of get ticketing as NFTs, so like the tickets become NFTs themselves, or is it more like token gating, where as long as you have, let's say, the token, that you get access to certain things, as long as and you have your provable verification for it.
I think we first step, we do want to prove the use case of NFTs as tickets. I
Mhm.
think I think long term, I do like that because there's a collectible nature. And uh you know it's hard to keep like a ticket stub. People don't keep things like they used to, but digitally they do. We got our iPhones full of memories of photos. uh so I think like the collection element of an NFT ticket is important and very valuable. um but the and I think that's what we're trying to prove, right? Is a use case. We got 10,000 lifetime festival passes. Um and that's proving that, like, at scale, we can do this, right? uh However, what was the exact question? I'm kind of butchering the response. What was the exact question again?
Oh no, if it's almost like, so let's say I own a Loudpunks, right? And that will all of them be, and I know I will get into the details of the actual collection itself in a minute, but like let's say I have one that's a lifetime access pass. Will that one like produce a ticket for that will be its own NFT that I show at the event, or do I just like scan that and I can get into the event? Like will it be
No, so
like
you'll we won't send you a ticket. No, you'll the holding the NFT in your wallet is your ticket. We'll verify that at the entrance, and you'll be given a wristband for the weekend,
Mhm.
and that's that. You know, we're real, and that's the reason for that is again community. You know, we don't want, because like all Loud Punks holders, not only do they get lifetime admission into any Rolling Loud festival across the world for life, but they also get access to our Loud Punks Lounge, and which is a community building center basically, right? It's somewhere at the festival that you can meet up with people from the Discord or other holders of other Loud Punks holders. And you know, our Discord is popping right now. People are making friendships and all types of relationships within our Discord. So we're giving them a place to meet in real life. And the last thing we want is people that aren't actual holders, that just somebody swap let them hold their NFT for the weekend, or not even that, but if we had did a thing where we send out the wristbands 2 weeks prior, and then there's like a black market of people selling these wristbands, and then the people showing up are not actual Loud Punks holders, it kind of messes up that community element. The most important thing here is that community element. We want that place for our core fans and the Web3 community to be able to interact and intersect and build together in real life.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really vibe with that too, because that's like a lot of like my mission and what I'm trying to do with my community, right? Is like try to get people opportunities for them to connect in real life. And like they already have like this common thread of things that they like, right? So it's like I really I really commend you for seeing it and like kind of like creating this space at your events for these people to get together, right? Because like to your point, like not everybody that attends the festival is going to necessarily care about web3 or care about crypto, but like how cool would it be if like there was this location where it's like, hey, you like hip hop, you like NFTs, like come hang out with your tribe over here, right?
Exactly. We're trying to foster that bridge building. You know, we are essentially onboarding new people into Web3 from our core fan base, people that are just purely interested in a lifetime festival pass. But guess what? The only way you can get it is got to create a wallet. You got to
Mhm.
get some Ethereum, and you know, so already, boom, we're onboarding people into Web3. But we also want to onboard people into our culture and just have that intersect. And who knows what's going to come out of that? Who knows what other projects will come out of that? Not necessarily Rolling Loud projects, but people just connecting in real life at the show. Who knows what technology will come from that? I just feel like when you intersect music and tech, beautiful things can happen.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree with. I think it's really cool. Like what has been, I guess, the reception from your core community that's not Web3 uh to this announcement of Loudpunks?
It's been great, you know. And we've been careful to not like slam it down their throats, because you know the perception of like, especially in a bear market, right? Like NFTs, when NFTs first came out, anybody that, and it was the bull market, anybody that didn't know about NFTs or didn't know anything about Web3, they were just like, why would I buy that picture? I could just save it. I could just screenshot it. And you know, they're not accounting for the authentication, authenticity, et cetera, the rarity, et cetera. Um, and so we didn't want to like for that reason, and then also now that it's like a bear market, and like the new headline for non Web3 natives was like, oh, NFTs fell off, right? Like
Mhm.
NFTs are a scam or whatever. Like, you know, people that are looking from the outside. So we didn't want to slam it down their throats too hard. but the adoption's been great. You know, like I said, the Discord's popping, the Loudpunx NFT Twitter is popping. We've definitely got a bunch of, like, when I go in the Discord, it's people talking about exactly what I spoke about before. Like, it's about to be my fifth Rolling Loud, about to be my 10th Rolling Loud. Like, I'm taking pictures with soon to be Loudpunx holders at our most recent show in New York, in front of our Loudpunx inflatables. Because I do want to clarify that Loudpunx isn't something we just made up to, like, oh, we need some type of character to for our NFT project. Like, nah, Loudpunx has been a character that my partner Matt Zingler came up with years ago and has been at all of our festivals since. We have these massive inflatables, like 50 feet tall, that bring Loudpunx to life. We've had Loudpunx stages. Um, so yeah, the reception's been great. Our most core fans are super excited, and we haven't even like posted the price yet. So when we, and that's going to be like the hook, line, and sinker. So a word of caution to the Web3 people looking to mint, definitely get in there quick, because as soon as we announce the official mint price, and we explain that in a dollars fashion to our fans, they're going to be like, holy shit, I can get a lifetime festival pass for the price of a few tickets. That's crazy. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, it's still growing, and it's going to be incredible.
Right. And so, I'll get into that in a second, but what, and you mentioned it too, is like the bear market. Like, how are you concerned about the bear market in the NFT space, or do you find that not concerning really at all?
This might be very Warren Buffett for me to say, but I love a bear market. A bear market is where opportunities are made. Um, a bull market is you're too late at that point in
Mm.
a lot of senses. I think a bear market is where the cream floats to the top, where innovation happens, where real, in this case, in my opinion about our project, where real utility is a factor. So no, I'm not worried, and I actually like it. Like, I think the perception of dropping, if we dropped this during a bull market, A, we weren't ready, but B, like it would be perceived as a cash grab. And this is far from a cash grab. I'm very intentional. Like, this is a community building initiative for our most core fans and for the Web3 community to come together, and let's see what comes from it. I really think it's going to spark. It's like what Tupac said, like, I might not change the world, but I guarantee you I spark the mind that does. So like, I don't know what's gonna come, and that might be corny, but I believe it.
Right. No, that's a really cool quote. I like that. I might steal that and use that in the future. But let's get a little
Quote
bit.
Tupac, not me.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I'll definitely look that up. That let's talk about Loudpunks, so the collection for a little bit. The have you What details have you released? What details can you share so far on the project?
So we've been pretty transparent.
Yeah.
So we've been, initially we did say in our Discord that it's going to be 10,000. We have seen as of lately like some commentary in our Discord and some chatter around these new projects that just dropped that have like 5 or 3,000 collection sizes. Um, I don't have a final answer for the collection size right now. But it'll be it if it's 5,000, we might make them all VIP. And if it's 10,000, leave them as GA. I'm not
Mhm.
sure as far as the price. Like, I'm doing my best to keep it at one ETH. I think one ETH is the price for us. So it's like, in dollars, that's $1,500 or wherever we're at right now. That's basically three festival tickets, and it's for life. So you could go to way more than three festivals, or you could flip it. However, but the core, the definite 100% uh, top line headlines are lifetime festival access to any Rolling Loud for life. Uh, of course, and this is inherent in Web3. But if there's any Rolling Loud Web2 fans listening to this, you, you don't have to hold it for life. Should you be done with it, you can, in a frictionless fashion, list it for sale and sell it. Um, and we're going to be throwing exclusive events for Loudpunx holders throughout the year, throughout the world. Um, and there's a bunch of trait-based utility that we have as well. Certain rare traits will unlock elevated experiences at the festival, such as we have what's called the Loud Club, which is like our VVIP bottle service area with the perfect best view of the main stage where all the celebrities and athletes and artists go buy tables, and it's like $20,000 a table per night. Um, some of the holders are going to be blessed with a free table.
Hmm.
That's
Wow,
just
that's really cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I'm excited for that. Um, and just the worldwide nature of it, I think is going to be great too. Our festival is not just in Miami, but we are also in Los Angeles, we are in New York, we're in Toronto, we are in Portugal, we're in the Netherlands, we're in one more European uh country that we'll be announcing soon for 2023. We did Australia in 2019. We'll be returning to Australia in 2024. Um, and then we're in Thailand coming up in April. And we have more markets we're working on. We're really keen on our worldwide expansion, and which is great for the Web3 space because Web3 is not just an American thing. It's all over the world, and to give people all over the world the opportunity to come together and meet each other, we think is super cool.
Right. And I think that's like really interesting
And
because
it's a dope PFP project. My bad. It's a dope, like, not like aside from the utility, the artwork is fucking sick.
right.
Just got to throw that out there.
All right, cool. I mean that sounds great, but I think the really interesting part too is like, and I just realized this is like, there's so many EDM festivals that are like international and like all over the place, but there aren't very many hip hop festivals that I can think of off, like, you know what I mean? Like I can think of like an EDM festival in like every country, right? That it's like, yeah, like of course, like there's
Right.
always like massive festivals, but there's no like hip hop festivals really, right? Or that are big, that are like very well known, I guess.
Well, no, you're 100% correct. I mean, and to just educate the audience a little bit, the history of hip hop festivals is short. Uh, there used to be a festival called Rock the Bells, and that was a legendary festival, but it was very much catered to a specific era of rap. Which kind of passed by. It was for like the Wu-Tang clans and the uh, Eric B and Rakim and like that type of thing, right? When we started Rolling Loud, Rock the Bells had been defunct for some time, and the lane was wide open for a new hip hop festival. And as the sound changed in hip hop, uh, we capitalized on that, as we had been doing with our concerts. Nobody was booking the rappers we like because there wasn't a scene for it yet. We built that scene together with the artists, and then when we chose to grow nationwide, to your point, again, we looked at these EDM festivals. Ultra and EDC are all over the world. Why be like Coachella and just stay in Miami every year? It's like, no, we can travel. Let's put this thing on the road.
Right.
People like hip hop everywhere. So there is no other and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or whatever, but I'm pretty sure there's no other traveling hip hop festival internationally.
Right. Yeah. And so like I guess what I mean, I assume like the artists themselves are huge fans, right? Because you're helping them get more exposure, helping get more international fans out there. Like what has they have they had a response to the NFT aspect of what you're doing yet?
Um, a little bit, yeah. Like, artists like Ski Master Slump God, DJ Scheme, they're super excited about it. Um, and then a lot of artists did like, I can't fault them for it because during the bull market of NFTs, a lot of artists got like some big offers to just like, hey, post about this NFT and we'll give you all this money and a free NFT. And they did it, and then there were a lot of rugs, a lot of fans were buying NFTs that went to shit. So I think artists are a bit scared of NFTs now. But this use case, we're going to be or you'll be seeing some collabs coming with artists soon where they'll be promoting our project, and they'll be championing our NFTs, and I think that's super.
Yeah, no, I think that's really dope. What one thing I want to get into in right here is, like I don't know. I know Coachella announced some sort of NFT project. I don't know if they've actually done the drop. Do you know exactly what they've done and how your project differs from theirs?
I know there was like a lot less, and I'm not sure if they did a lifetime pass or if it was like X amount of shows. But I know it was way fewer in quantity. It
Mm,
wasn't as much of like a community building thing as much it was like, honestly, I think they got paid like a bag by Solana or like something like that, and it was like, hey, we're gonna release 10 lifetime Coachella passes, and the price is like outlandishly expensive.
mm.
Um, Not to
Right.
hate, shout
Yeah.
out
Yeah. It's
Coachella.
just,
They're a legend. Coachella
yeah.
is a legendary festival that has paved the way for many festivals, including ours, to come after it. But I just don't think it's really the greatest use case of a concert admission NFT.
Right. Right. No, that
I
I
like
get that.
ours.
Yeah. No, I get it. That makes sense. I
Like
guess one.
ours is more like for the people, like you could get it. I know we haven't announced the exact price, but you could get it for 1 ETH, 1.5 ETH, and sure, maybe the value will go up like crazy, and I think it will, but the fact that it's available for that initial offering at scale that you could actually get one is pretty cool.
Right. That's I think that is pretty cool. One question that just comes to the top of my mind, just thinking out loud about this, I'm not sure if you've thought about it or not, is like, let's say I have a Loudpunx and I can't go to the show in Portugal, but there's somebody that would go, and like, can I can't technically sell them like entry into that festival without transferring the NFT to them, right? Like how would you
Correct.
like
Yeah, you
stop scalping, I guess, right? Where it's like, okay, like if this thing is worth $500 per festival and I can sell, entry into each festival and there's 10 of them, then technically it's worth $5,000 per year, right? But like unless I'm actually physically there, there's no way for me to kind of capitalize on that entry.
absolutely. So first of all, I would say that maybe in the future we'll consider using some of like these NFT rental solutions.
Mhm.
Um, but for now, you have to be a holder of the NFT to be able to enter the concert. And it has to be uh and forgive me if I say this wrong, but like let's say you do, in your use case scenario, you want to transfer your NFT to to somebody to be able to go to the Portugal show. You would have to do so like on, I don't know if the right word is like on chain, or like in a way that there's the royalty is taken from it. And so
Right.
if you just like off chain give somebody your NFT, and I think I'm butchering the words here,
Right.
so forgive me, Web3 purists. But if you try to just transfer somebody, or not try, but if you do transfer somebody your NFT in a way that is not subject to the royalty, then that NFT is basically suspended until it is brought back into the ecosystem of royalties. At that point, you could use it again. So if you sold it to somebody and it had a royalty, if you sold it to the person in Portugal with the royalty, all good, no problem. You transfer it to them without a royalty, that NFT won't be valid. So
Right.
that's our current way. That's our current solution to stop scalping. Some people will love that. Some people won't like that.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's really interesting because it's funny and I think it's timely because here we are right now where all the marketplaces are zeroing out creator fees and people are like, what are we gonna do? And like kind of my response is very similar to yours, right? Where it's like, well, if you want to, transfer an asset or trade an asset without paying royalties, that's fine. It's your asset. There's nothing I can tell you to do or not do. But what I can do is just, not give you access to the cool benefits of being part of the community, right? And I think you understand that and are taking that stance because I think it's almost like what is better to lead with a carrot or lead with a stick, right? And it's like, it's like, all right, cool. Like if you want to trade this and not pay creator royalties, that's totally fine. But like you're not going to get access to stuff, which is like the whole point of like being part of that community, right? And so like I think that's a really smart approach.
I appreciate that, and yeah, that's our exact sentiment. Um, and some people have like an issue with royalties. They think it's like not fair, but just to like from a purely business perspective, we would never put out 10,000 lifetime festival passes that could be traded in perpetuity, and eventually we just have 10,000 people essentially showing up for free at every show. The way that the project stays alive and can exist in perpetuity is by that royalty being a factor, so that 10 years from now when people are trading Loudpunks, we're still allowing them entry and forever, right, because there is a mechanism to compensate the festival for that. Um, and it's just a small royalty, but you know, that'll keep us going.
Yeah, I also think the idea, because I've thought about this a lot too, where it's like you can buy back in to the system, right? So that if you end up buying something that's, let's say, you get it at a discount, right? Because it doesn't have any like utility or functionality because there's no access. It's like, oh shit, like, oh, right, cool. Like I can go over here, I can submit the payment, and then that allows, this NFT to now be back part of the ecosystem. I think having that way for people to buy, to opt back in, if they want to do it, or end up buying something like, oh shit, like I can buy back in. I think that is like the key, right, to kind of being like, yeah, you can trade these things if you just like the art. And for sure, like, you won't pay if you don't want to pay royalties. You don't have to pay royalties, right? Like it's your
Right.
product. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do with it, but you're just not going to get access to the really cool shit, right? And like I think like giving somebody lifetime access to all of your concerts is pretty fucking cool utility, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly our sentiment.
Cool. Well, they when is the actual mint of Loudpunks going to be?
So it's looking like we were gonna do November 9th, but we have some things we're announcing for our concerts right now. So we're thinking November 15th is better. But the best way to stay up to date is to, if you're, first of all, you better be following Rolling Loud if you're not following Rolling Loud already. If you're not following Rolling Loud, do that. And aside from Rolling Loud, we have Loudpunx NFT on Twitter. That's Loudpunx NFT on Twitter, and then just Loudpunx Loudpunx on Instagram. Follow both those accounts and join the Discord. Those are the greatest ways to stay informed and to join the community. I can't stress enough, this is about community. Um, but it's looking like a November 15th mint. If not shortly after that, we just have to make sure all our ducks are in order. And of course, we have other things happening within our festival that are constantly changing with dates that we announce shows and lineups and stuff, and that's all very much up to the artist. So for anybody that's wondering like why don't you have like a concrete date, there's a lot of balls we're juggling here to be that, with we just got a great artist confirmation for Rolling Loud LA for next year. Very excited about that. So that lineup should be coming pretty soon. Uh, so yeah, just stay tuned. Looking like November 15th. If we need to delay it farther than that, we'll let you guys know. But it's very, very soon, and we're very excited for it. And it'll definitely be in time for you guys to buy this NFT before Rolling Loud LA 2023, which is March 3rd through 5th. That's our first festival back, uh, because we finished our festivals for this year. So we got a
Mhm.
nice break until March. So you'll definitely be able to mint before March. I can guarantee you that.
Cool. And that's where March will be the first festival where Loud Punks will have like utility, and what was it called? The Loud Punks Lounge?
Yes, Loudpunx Lounge. Who knows if it'll be sponsored by uh, a Web3 native company or if it'll be a standalone thing, but we've already invested the money and started designing the space. It's super cool. It's very like it's very almost like NFT NYC, or like, it's like screens and NFTs on display and a bar and lounge and couches and just a good vibe. It's like artsy meets tech meets hip hop culture is going to be the vibe of the lounge. And yeah, that the first use case is March 3rd through 5th, Rolling Loud LA 2023. Got big artists headlining, very excited for that. um, as well as our usual thing, which is a brick house of stacked of a bunch of very very credible artists with a roof of some amazing legendary headliners. So just very excited for that. If you're at all interested in coming to the festival, if you've been to them already a bunch of times, or if you've never been but you're a Web3 native that sees the use case utility here, I'm like not very great with words, but come check us out.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to attending one of your festivals at some point next year myself. And because we've only met via video conference, so it'd be nice to meet in person as well. But
And that is the thing in the Web3 space, is that a lot of us have only met, and I thank you for saying what you just said. A lot of us have only met like this, or maybe just like this, right?
mhm.
So to give us all that opportunity to come together, we encourage members of all types of communities, if you have any interest in live music or any interest in coming together in real life with holders from other communities and Loudpunx holders, this is a place for you. Uh, and any communities that want to get down with Loudpunx and with Rolling Loud, just reach out. We're a very crypto friendly company. We're open to all ideas. We're a very Web3 friendly company. Whatever, if any community has an idea with how to integrate with ours, we're all ears. We see this as the future.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time though. I don't know if the connection's on my side or your side, but I appreciate you taking the time. Uh, I'm looking forward to everything that you're working on. I think this is really fucking cool. I think the utility is dope as fuck, and I'm looking forward to what you guys bring to the space. And like, I think the cool thing is like the culture, right? Because I think by bringing this culture to NFTs and this festival culture is like, kind of showing the world what else can happen with NFTs besides just JPEGs.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for pointing that out. That's the goal here.
So awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on, and I wish you the best of luck on your mint, and we'll chat soon. And everybody, thank you for tuning in to Admit One.
G Money! Admit one with G Money, baby. If you want to see his face, you can't. Ah.
See you guys later.